My Conjuring mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is straight from the pits of hell. Literally. She didn't want her son to marry me. So what did she do? She told him that a few years back we dated for a long time, she had caught me in bed with her then husband, only she didn't tell my husband at the time because, he would have been so hurt, and would have tried to kill her husband. Yep, you read that right, and he believed her for about 2 hours. I mean, why would his own mother lie to him, right? Until he started to drive towards this poor, unsuspecting man's home to confront him. That is when she admitted that it was a lie. Because she didn't want him to marry me. Not gonna lie, it hurt on so many levels. I've been nothing but good to this woman and that family. And hindsight is 20/20. I should have bounced then. Kicked her ass and bounced. But I didn't want to punish him for her actions. But it never stopped. The lies and manipulation have only increased in the last 10 years. I don't trust her around my children at all. She's the worst grandmother you have ever seen. The few times I have let my children around her has ended in her screaming vulgarities at my children. Making them cry, all while my husband just stands by and says, "That's just how she is. That is how I was raised." No backbone whatsoever. Repeating cycles of abuse. It's so disgusting. I'm done. In the middle of divorce proceedings. And therapy. And a lot in soul searching. I guess I just don't understand how ended up so deep in such a shit show. I consider myself intelligent. I usually don't fall for the BS. They say love is blind. I must be Stevie Wonder. I guess I just want to say the crazy never gets better. Ever. I knew deep down that this family was severely dysfunctional. And I guess I thought I could love the crazy away. Or maybe, I thought my husband would have responded differently to all the BS she has pulled. But, folks, crazy is crazy. Run, don't walk, if you even have an inkling a crazy mother-in-law is involved. Don't end up in hell like me. Part of me feels so stupid for typing this out. It is so cringe. I was raised better than this. I will never understand how I put up with these people for so long. It is not cringe. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I think a lot of people will learn from your mistake. But hey, we're all humans and I'm proud of you for not putting up with them anymore. Such shitty humans. It takes a really strong person to correct a mistake that was made and you're doing it. I hope your ex realizes this is how his entire life will be unless he sets hard boundaries with her. If she's abusive towards your kids, I would see what I can legally do to keep her far away from them. If your ex wants to be a spineless punk his whole life, that's on him. You do not have to offer your children up to her to continue this cycle of abuse. That's just how she is never an acceptable response. That means you're giving her permission to treat you like garbage. Anyone is capable of change, if they really want to. Stay strong and keep up the good work. Make sure your custody agreement says he cannot leave your children alone with her or limit contact completely with her due to her abuse. Congrats on getting out. It's not cringe. Manipulators are experts at getting you to gaslight yourself into hoping they will get better with more love. It took my fiancé years to do it, but he always kept his mom away from me. He finally went no contact last October. He's been infinitely happier and so have I, and it took him taking that step to get her out of our lives. There was literally nothing you could do to keep her. I'm so sorry. I come from a crazy family and am working on undoing cycles of abuse. Your ex sucks for justifying and excusing that behavior instead of standing up to them and getting help to change. So many people stay their whole lives in relationships like this, like your ex, so bravo to you for standing up and getting out. Congratulations on taking a step toward freedom. I hope you can find a good therapist to work through everything that comes from a betrayal like this. Don't beat yourself up. It's amazing what we're able to overlook in the name of love. All this says to me is that you're a loving, strong, and optimistic person who held out hope for change. And change isn't impossible, it just wasn't possible without a husband who's willing to grow a spine and offer you some solidarity. It takes a lot of courage to admit it isn't going to get better, and even more to walk away, especially when history, love, and children are involved. You've done well. Be kind to yourself. Onward and upward. You aren't stupid for putting up with it for so long. You were applying the logic and structure you were raised with to a severely dysfunctional family. I understand because I've been dealing with a similar situation. You probably kept thinking that surely they aren't this big of an asshole. Surely, if I explain why they can't cuss at children, they will figure it out. The problem is that they are not able to think rationally. That includes your husband who was raised to support this level of shit show. Give yourself some grace. You can't always see when you are elbow deep in it. But, congrats on getting out and the new chapter. I understand you. Love is very blind, and youth is somewhat ignorant. Once some life is lived is when the patience with BS starts leaving. I think that's why there is a cliché about older people being cranky. They just don't want to put up with the crap anymore. She sounds like she could have been tolerable if you all had moved across country and he had your back. But it also doesn't sound like he did have your back. Hopefully, you get the kids. That way, they have a chance. I wish you good health and good food for a happy Thanksgiving. It's not your fault. You're not stupid. It's not cringe. Everybody makes mistake and everybody have a bad past somehow. You're brave for walking away. Congratulations. Other partner, no one expects this level of crazy and no one teaches us how to deal with it. You're very wise and strong to recognize the situation and to get yourself out of it. And double that for being a good mother and getting your kids out, too. Hugs to you and be proud of yourself. Thank you for sharing your story. You're not cringe, you're strong and brave and made a huge life decisions for yourself and your children. I dealt with parents like this when I was younger, not to this extreme though. My nanny was awful to my ma'am and myself and my dad would just do nothing. It was very annoying to watch my ma'am being treated this way and I was so relieved when they divorced. My ma'am followed her dreams, went back to university, got into new hobbies, met new people, made friends and you get the story haha. Well done, we are all very proud of you. Other partner, don't call yourself stupid. You did everything in good faith and you couldn't know how far that poor excuse for a person could do. A normal functioning person can't expect such hideous behavior and, that's the way she is, will ruin the life of your ex. That's his choice. Go on enjoying your life with your kids. I feel ya girl. It turned out before the divorce proceedings, everything came out in the wash, and Mount's spouse finally saw the light. I was so close though. So close. Look, you feel how you feel, and are justified in your feeling. I think we have the same ex-mother-in-law. And it just got worse and worse and crazier. My soon-to-be ex-wife never did a thing or put her foot down once even with all the lies Mill was saying about me. And then 20 years down the track and 3 kids later I finally found out my soon-to-be ex-wife was now leading the charge. But if I could go back, I thought I was saving her from her crazy family. But then I didn't stop to think she never asked me to. And myself and my kids got dragged into and spat out a shell of a person I once was. And now I've got the fight of my life trying to navigate a divorce with this narcissist abusive irrational person. And then try and co-parent with her.